Hello there, my name's Gary Foster and welcome back to the next episode of What Price Victory, where I'm currently taking on the challenge of getting Melbourne Victory back to the top of the A-League table in Australia where they rightfully belong. Since you last joined us, I've played 4 games offline. One was a double against Western United, where we came up trumps on both occasions, 1-0 and 3-0. Then in our return Melbourne derby, we had a spluttering 0-0 draw against our crosstown rivals Melbourne City. And then we also had another spluttering 0-0 draw against the Central Coast Mariners. So as you can see by the table, we've just had the one loss, but the draws are killing us, even though we are on top of the ladder. But before we go to the ladder, we'll just quickly have a look at these goals that we scored in our first 2 games. Rudy Gastede is still our leading goal scorer and our star player. We've got this from a set piece, Brimmer launching it in, and Gastede just finding space at the edge of the 6-yard box, and he was able to knock that away. As you can see, most of the players played. They played well. Brimmer setting up the goal. In the next or the return bout at our home ground, we had a more comfortable 3-0 win over Western United, and it's no surprise that we dominated the XG, dominated possession. Shots on target were the same as were the shots in general, but you can see that our players played a lot better. With the goals, Cruz was instrumental in the first goal. Shotton coming up from the back has also laid on a couple of goals for us, and once again Gastede finding space inside the 6-yard box and being able to volley it home. Brimmer with a penalty, which was pretty straightforward. That sort of gave us a good cushion. Lawton back to Shotton again, who gave it back to Barnett, launched across in, and Gastede with a looping header killed the game. So that was 2 quick goals for us. So we left it a little bit late, but nothing more than we deserved, at least from my point of view anyway. So if we go to the competition table, you can see that there's a little bit of a break between Melbourne Victory and Brisbane Roar. They've joined us on top of the table, but they've suffered 2 defeats. So at least we've been able to pick up points. Macarthur and Sydney are the other teams, but there's a slight gap. So we've got high expectations now of this for the rest of the competition. It should be mindful that in that other game against Melbourne City, most of our players played average. Sporanovic, who was one of my first signings, he's found a little bit of form and able to not so much cement his spot, but improve his spot. In the 0-0 draw with Mariners, it's interesting to note there that Robbie Cruz has suffered a rather serious injury and is out for 5 weeks. So it's the injury curse that seems to have blighted Robbie Cruz's career, and Australian football fans will only be too aware of the injury problems that he's had. Anyway, I'll go and do a little bit of admin, and we'll come back for the team that's going to take on Sydney FC in the Big Blue Derby. Okay, here we have the team to take on Sydney FC in the Big Blue Derby. Familiar looking lineup with Acton in goal, Traore, Ryan, Ansell and Shotton at the back. Haraj as a deep lying playmaker is a new signing. We've picked him up, and he's actually an A-League player from a few years ago, although he's got Dutch experience. He played a few seasons for the Central Coast Mariners. We got him on a designated contract. Broxham and Brimmer in front of him in midfield. Lawton and McManaman, who's still coming back from fitness. He hasn't regained his form from early on in the season, and all our hopes are on Rudy Gestede up front. I'll submit that, and we'll go to the match. Be assertive in this derby. Right, so we're playing Sydney in Sydney. So early stages of the derby, although we've had one shot that wasn't worth a highlight, unfortunately. So we'll just let the game click through its paces. Shotton's been having a good game, a good series of games for us. He's in really good form, so no surprise to see that he's up at already ranking at 7 points. Callum McManaman not playing terribly well, as is our central midfield. So I'm not quite sure whether we're even going to go and get a highlight in this particular half of football. Very frustrating. Seems strange that even shots on target aren't worth a highlight in this game, but we'll run with that. McManaman not playing well at all, so I think half-time might be the best for everyone concerned. So I think we need to be a little bit assertive again and say it's time for everyone to dig in. We deserve to win this match. Yeah, hasn't really met with a wide round of applause, but we'll see how this game pans out in the second half. Traore, he's acquitting himself quite well. Dylan Ryan, but Shotton seems to be a little bit down on fitness. I'll see if I can squeeze another 10 minutes out of him. Sydney FC with the corner, rather header over the bar, so at least our shots have been mainly on target. We'll just pause this and we'll see if we can find some room for Shotton. Get Sporanovic on. Used to playing a more central role. Could drop Hidaj back. We'll just see how it all pans out for the next sort of few minutes. Okay, so Ansell's is now crashing, so I might I'll just wait to the end of this highlight, I think. Sure as egg something's going to happen. Sydney with the ball in a dangerous position, but another next to nothing highlight. Okay, so Ansell, I'll bring him on for Kurda, but I just need to go back and put him there, swap Haraj with Sporanovic, and just bump Kurda. I want him there. There's a more central three. Box to box, deep lying playmaker. Box to box, yep, happy with that. And Broxham, supporting role. I just might make him a little bit more defensive. So I'll just confirm those changes. And we'll just keep an eye on this fitness. So Dylan Ryan not playing terribly well. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that, but I just might give them a little bit of encouragement. Just demand more, although a point away from home is not a disaster. Oh, McManaman, not good, not good. Okay. This young guy, bring him on for McManaman. Seems though with the loss of Robbie Cruz and now McManaman not regaining his form, we've lost a lot of potency out wide. So there we have it, our third 0-0 draw in a row. So it's very very frustrating. So I'm not happy with that performance. But we're still clinging on, depending on what happens in Brisbane Roar's makeup game. Look, I was only going to make this a single save, a single game save, but seeing as we've zapped through that quickly, I might go and do a little bit of admin, and we'll bring you also the Newcastle Jets, and hopefully there's a few goals in that. So we'll come back to the Jets game shortly. Okay, so here we are for the game against Newcastle Jets. Similar team that played in the Big Blue Derby. The only change I've made is Rojas coming in for Callum McManaman. I was critical of him during the week and pulled him aside, and I criticised him for his last game. And as you can see, his form has been declining since coming back from injury, and he had a little bit of a tanty with me and reacted poorly, and there was also some negative comments about him in the press, as there was of me for the 0-0 draw with Sydney. And I thought, well, a little bit unfair, because in the grand scheme of things you'd be happy with a point away from home. But anyway, we're going with a similar team, except for Rojas coming in for McManaman. We probably need a little bit of encouragement here. Don't like the favourites chant. Recent form in 5th, let's show them mine. Newcastle lost 3. Brother Barry is very keen with the media chat, so I'm going to take his advice, and we'll go with the media chat. Let's hope there's a little bit more action in this particular game. So early days with both teams feeling themselves out, but got the Jets on the attack, but the ball is through to Broxham, who can bring it away and maybe set up something on the right for us. A lot of white shirts around him, so it's going to be difficult to get it into the box. But there's Gastide lurking, and he gets it. Gets his head on the end of it. Well, great finish considering he was surrounded by white shirts, and Broxham with also a great finish too, because he wasn't. He had a fair bit to do out wide on the right. You can see he's getting chased down, but in the middle there's 2, 4. Yeah, lots of white shirts in the box there. I think Newcastle would be very disappointed to concede a goal like that. So Gastide obviously showing the way. A couple of early bookings, now 3 early bookings for the Jets, and that's something we were criticised in the Sydney Derby for the number of fouls that we committed. But I didn't think they were much more than what the opposition was. So I think it's a case of the press overreacting. But here we can see our players all scoring well, all rating well. Fitness issues seem okay. With Acton, this looks like a free kick. Playing the ball out deep, and Gastide loses out that time. Haraji with a good ball out wide to Rojas. Now see what he can do. Oh, loses the ball. That's what he can do. Okay, we've got lots of blue shirts behind the ball. I'm expecting us to close this down unless they can somehow get behind us. We're too wide out on the left. Nothing sort of crossed, but it gets in, runs straight to Thomas, and good save by Acton. Acton is probably not too far behind Gastide in terms of rating. It's been great for us. So corner played out to no man's land, but Lawton's able to get onto the ball and we're able to repel that attack. So after half hour, we've now got a ball deep in the attacking third. Traore with the cross. Haraj picks it up, plays it out wide to Shotton, who's also been able to deliver some quality ball for us. But not this time. Is he fouled? Thought he got the ball. It looked as if he got the ball. Maybe he was careless and reckless and got the player as well. Okay, happy to go with that. Okay, so we've got a few minutes before half time, and I think I'd have to be pretty happy with this performance. Held them to the only one shot. Dominating. Oh, we're actually not dominating possession. It seems strange, but at home I think we could don't get complacent. Well, things are going well, but I know they're capable of even better, especially on the goal scoring front. But I'd just be a little bit more comfortable if we didn't allow Rudy Gastide to be our main source of goals. I'm expecting a little bit more from them in the second half. So Shotton's booking, I don't think will be too critical for us. Maybe a shout just to let them know that I'm still watching them. Lawton starting to lose a little bit of puff. A free kick just outside the Jets box. Rojas on the ball. Oh, scores a cracker. Scores a cracker with his right foot. Curls it into that near post. So the goalkeeper would be disappointed that the ball didn't do its job there. But from a set piece, I'll take it. I'll take it. So yeah, expectation for the ball to do a good job, or maybe it was just a good shot. So that'll pick Rojas' confidence up quite well. I might now have a look. See what Lawton can do. Composer, and I also might. Yeah, Haraj. Might just leave it at that because I don't like change for the sake of change, although I am keeping an eye on Haraj for his fitness levels. But at this stage of the game you wouldn't expect all the numbers to be great anyway. So maybe we can just tell them now to perhaps focus. Although that particular shout's been questioned as to how effective it is, but if you're running the clock down, we should be happy with that 2-0 result, and we are. So I think we can. Why can't I pump this? Outstretched arms, give them a little bit of praise. Yeah, lots of good numbers in that particular game, so happy with that. So picking up those 2 points sees Victory on 42. Brisbane are on 36, but with a game in hand. Macarthur FC just behind them, also on 20 games played, but 35 points. And Perth, Sydney, they've sort of fallen away. So nice little gap is opening up at the top of the table, and I think we're looking good for the second half of the second half of the game, or the season rather. So we'll leave it at that, I think. Just quickly have a look at the competition. It just confirms our form. Have a look at the schedule. Schedule has us next to play the Western Sydney Wanderers, where we had that exciting 3-3 draw early the previous month. Might actually, bearing in mind that there's 5 games to go, might actually come back for the Melbourne Victory game, because if the numbers are right, we may be able to win the league from that game. But if results go our way, and it looks like we could win it at the Jets return game, I might come back for that. So happy to be a little bit fluid, but we'll play the Western Sydney Wanderers offline, and we'll come back for either the Jets or City, depending on how other results go. So I'm Gary Foster. Thank you very much for watching What Price Victory, and we'll catch up with you shortly. Bye bye.